Greetings, this is Charlie Wharton, and welcome to our Creating Contentment podcast. Our goal with this effort is to try to get a head start on making the most of our opportunities. We hope to help you get your week started off on the right foot, and we hope to lay some groundwork for developing contentment that can lead to an abundant life. So let's get started. A few years into our marriage, Jeannie and I decided to move to the mountains. We'd been raised on the music of John Denver and the visions of the magnificent Rocky Mountains, so we thought we'd give it a try. I had a few years of ministry behind me. Our daughter had been born, and it was time to go off and chase our dream. Unfortunately, that dream almost became a nightmare. Our vision of living in a magnificent mountain chalet surrounded by snow-covered peaks turned out to be living in a trailer house in a very cold, high mountain desert, literally and figuratively. We experienced physical, occupational, and financial challenges that were only derailed when the church decided to let me go. I was determined to never give up and to make it work. Thankfully, we were sent packing, again, both figuratively and literally. It's easy to look back on these challenging times with a heartache and also a bit of a heartburn, but through the years we've come to realize that our desert experience actually set us on a course to success. First of all, this is where our son was born. Secondly, I found myself in situations that would later lead me to being able to be comfortable taking on the elements of crisis work which I have come to embrace. And third, it strengthened the relationship that Jeannie and I had with each other. Yet as we go back and as we look at this, maybe the final lesson that this taught us is that we can overcome difficult situations. Now, let me rephrase that. Not just overcome them, but also embrace them. It's not going to be fun as we go through them. But what we experienced actually made us stronger and prepared us for the next phase of life. Through the years, I've learned that what we have come to call our desert experience is nothing unique. In fact, a quick survey of the Bible reveals a lot of people who spent time in their own types of desert. Noah spent months in the ark before he restarted humanity. Moses spent time in the wilderness before he delivered the Israelites from captivity. Jonah spent 3 days in a fish's belly before he preached to Nineveh. Even Jesus spent a season of his life being tested and tempted before he set out on his own ministry. I don't know if any of these people would have chosen this path for their development, but they grew because of them. As I have pondered our and other people's desert experiences, I've reflected on James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3. We are told, "Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." Now notice that James doesn't say if you encounter trials, but when you encounter them. No one has ever promised a smooth journey. In fact, the wisest of people try to prepare others for not only the detours along the way, but also the potholes that get in their way. Our best laid plans are just one event away from being altered, if not abandoned altogether. However, just because things don't work out the way we envision them doesn't mean that we failed. In fact, our eventual success may depend on the lessons that we learn during those stressful times. We may not be ready to achieve our potential without going through what some people call the refiner's fire. Difficulties may not be a punishment from God. They may be the preparations we need to get us ready for the plan He has for us. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that these times are easy or pleasant by any means. They can be quite difficult and irritating. They can make us dislike our circumstances and even question God's purpose. However, even in the midst of struggles, we can and must have hope. Now, how do we do that? Let's take a look at 3 quick points. First of all, we can be contented in trials by seeing life as a learning experience, not a series of wins and losses. One of the reasons I like Major League Baseball is that it has a 162-game schedule. Teams that win 100 games, which is considered an excellent season, still lose over a third of their games. Major League Baseball can't afford to focus on losses for too long. It's a long season, and tomorrow is a new day. No one likes to lose, but when we learn from our losses, we can come back stronger. I think, secondly, we can be contented in trials by seeing the here and now as a path to the future. Often we feel that what we're feeling today is where we'll be stuck forever. However, when we see each day as a stepping stone to where we'll eventually go, the cracks in one particular day don't signal the final result. Most of us will be blessed with a new day tomorrow, one complete with new challenges, opportunities, lessons, and successes. Whether it's a new person we meet or maybe a challenge that we endure today, it just might be the stepping stone to our next plateau. Finally, we can be contented in trials by realizing that we're not alone in our journey. Not only do we have people traveling with us, we have people who are helping us along the way. Today's hard time may be a life correction that leads us to the next influence in our lives. Yet as we look down the road, we must never forget those who are with us today. We're not alone. We have friends and family who care about us. We have a church that's praying for us. We have a God who is protecting us. Let's not let the darkness convince us that we're all by ourselves. We wish you the best as you work your way through your week. I know for a lot of you, you're facing some challenging and some very scary times. However, be assured that you're not alone. And remember that every trial comes with an opportunity to mature. We wish you the best as you navigate your week, and we hope that you'll join us next week for another chance to discuss ways that we can create contentment.